And 3, 2, 1, boom. And we're back with another episode of Socratic Gamers. This is a movie review for perhaps the best movie of all time. I'm calling it right now, best movie of all time. We checked out Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so typically with these movie reviews, we're going to score it, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to rescore it to see if one of us swayed the other person's decision making. Okay. So, Vish, you go first. What was your score? You already know mine.
I don't remember yours.
No, you know my opinion of it.
Oh, yeah.
Opening with best movie of all time. Best movie of all time.
I had a hard time deciding on my score.
Okay. Would you start off with, it was the best movie of all time? Because I'm pretty sure it was the best movie of all time.
As an Avengers movie? Sure, yeah.
Ouch. Just as an Avengers movie, okay.
But I don't know. I had a struggle with finding the right score for me. Between, I don't know, I don't know why I'm thinking 7.5.
Ooh, okay. Wow.
Or
really?
8, yeah.
That's funny, eh? Because
I had a hard time.
It's deciding. Left and right, because there's a guy I saw, he gave it 6.5.
Right.
So I was like, whoa, that's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 7.5 or 8, that's yours? So we're going to go with 7.5?
I'll stick with 8.
All right, 8. I'm going to give this 200 out of 10.
Okay.
So, best movie of all time.
All right.
Okay, so this movie hit all of the things that I would expect from a really good movie.
Okay.
Insane action, drama, and method acting.
Okay.
Okay. The one thing I guess it would be missing for putting it against other movies like Pirates of the Caribbean was but I guess there was some. There's spiritual analogies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Oops. I felt like that was the only thing that this didn't really. Actually, no, there were spiritual analogies.
There were.
Yeah. Okay, so best movie of all time. Okay, but it didn't feel like a 3-hour movie at all. Did you notice that as well?
I think I did feel the time.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't feel it at all.
Yeah.
It felt like everything was like a logical next progression. So to me, I was like, okay, they're going to go here. And it's like, oh, they did go here. The biggest thing, all right, this is a huge spoiler. Movie reviews always have spoilers.
This is full disclosure.
Yeah. So in the beginning, when they killed Thanos right away, I was like, wait, is that it? And then I thought maybe they're just going to, it's sort of like, we all thought it was going to be this crazy war with Thanos, but it's actually about how they recuperate after Thanos' mass destruction.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was pretty intense. But what I really liked was the method acting from Robert Downey Jr. in the beginning.
Okay.
He seemed very skinny for the role.
Yeah, it was, I don't know if he actually did it, but, no, just that, it was really cool to see that. Of course that would happen.
What, him? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Space
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, he and then when he came back from space, he was super skinny, and I was like, oh wow, you really dove into this role.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he wanted to give a proper send off to his character. Spoiler: he dies.
Oh yeah.
I think maybe that could have been what was it? You know.
It was it was foreshadowing it throughout the movie.
There was a lot of foreshadowing, actually, especially the biggest foreshadow is when Doctor Strange wouldn't tell them what it was. Tony kept asking, oh, is this the thing?
1 in 14 million or
yeah,
something.
And then he's like, if I tell you, it won't happen. It's yeah, of course, because then you're going to be thinking too much of, will I give up my...
Mm-hmm.
But what I really liked was, even though they kept trying to portray Tony as, a selfish character, if you watch the first movie, he seemed super selfish.
But
until he realized the error of his ways.
Well, it was shown in many movies, actually.
Yeah, totally.
Right. But then, even there was a line in one of the past. I'm not sure if it was Avengers or one of those other movies that Captain America said to him that he wouldn't do any sacrifice that kind of thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I was watching a thing that was
breaking down the psychology.
Checking all the Easter eggs and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And one of those was that he would not put himself up for sacrifice.
Which is interesting. The thing I like about Tony Stark is he's a
But maybe that's why he was right to not tell him what he was going to do.
For sure, yeah, no, totally.
Because maybe he wouldn't have done it.
So like Tony, in terms of his psychology, it seems like he's battling with two versions of himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, throughout that.
Throughout
movie,
the whole series.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because like in the beginning, if you watch the first movie, he was super into like profiteering and stuff, and then he realized, oh, my weapons are the ones that are being used against the good as well, right? My weapons were meant to protect, right? And then like after realizing that, he had like a crisis within himself.
Yeah.
You know, and then he became Iron Man.
Right.
So like, and then you watch this one, it's like at his core he's a good person, but it's only when his mind gets involved that he actually stops and like forces, like tries to pursue the greedy path. Which is often the case, you know, when you start thinking logically about something, you're like, wait, shouldn't this be mine? But like inherently he's a good person, and this is what it showed. Like from the first movie, it's like when he saw the evil of his ways, he changed. And then from this one, he was like, split-second decision-making, he sacrificed himself without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. At his core, he's a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he chose to help them, right?
Yeah, even when...
He couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, when they're like, oh, he's like, oh, I solved the time issue.
Yeah.
And then his wife was like, you know, like, he's like, oh, I could just leave it alone. But she knew he couldn't leave it alone because, again, battling two demons. Yeah. There's like, he's like the perfect character archetype of like the story of the two wolves. Like, which one are you going to feed, the good or the evil? Yeah. You know? Because he's the potential and power to do both. Yeah, you're going to say.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, with that end scene, which is interesting was to see, basically it was the opposite of what happened at the end of Infinity War, right? Like, when Tony lost Spider-Man. But it was when you saw...
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of those...
You've been grappling with that guilt for...
a long time.
Yeah.
For those 5 years. Yeah.
6, I guess. Yeah, 5. Yeah, it was 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, I liked a lot of those things. I did see a lot of those things, but I think it was more... I guess, I don't know if it was meshing. Like, some of these characters that we thought we were... Maybe I thought too much of it, I guess. Like, Captain Marvel didn't feel like we necessarily needed her only for that end bit. But it's like some of those sort of things.
Oh, yeah.
That I had...
yeah, true. I see what you mean. Like, she was, like, insanely powerful. I was actually talking to Ray about this one. How, like, she came in, she destroyed the ship with ease. And then she comes down, they're like, how are you going to get through all those...
Yeah, well, what kind of question was that?
Yeah, like, what?
She
just destroyed the entire ship.
Yeah.
But it's almost like Disney wanted to put in some sort of, like, women empowered.
Yeah, of course, all of them...
It was all women in that one. So it's like, all right.
Well, that's fine. That's fine to do that. It's just that I didn't feel like the mesh with some certain characters. I guess just like it didn't. But I don't know. The fight was still epic. It was a pretty like a war.
It made me think of the latest episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was like, damn. It had the exact same feeling, and like how Thanos was there, and then like, okay, we're gonna fight all these guys. I was like, oh, you guys are screwed, bro. And then all of a sudden they came back, and then hordes and hordes of good guys came to battle. That was sick.
What was interesting, also was like they weren't afraid to call back on some of the old movies, like Back to the Future, those things that involve time, even though they
true.
They threw shade at Back to the Future.
You mean like reference?
Yeah, referencing those ones, but then they followed the similar thing to Back to the Future too. That's what I was reading.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, like try not to interfere with your character. Like they were still doing the same thing, even though they said it doesn't work like that or something.
Right.
But they still did the same thing as Back to the Future too.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it was just funny. Like that they threw shade, but then they followed the same thing.
but it didn't change. No, the thing about the Back to the Future was that it would change history, but it doesn't change history.
No, what they did was the same thing as them.
Yeah. No. Yeah. They did, yes, but like the logical argument was different in both scenarios. So in one, it was like it will change.
No, I
your
mean
history.
they follow the plot or something.
Oh, like
similar.
encountering
like
yourself.
yeah,
Oh, I get what
to
you're
like
saying.
hide away from
Yeah.
reading yourself and all that sort of stuff. I guess.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's still good. I think my 8 score is good. I guess it's some of the scenes. I guess I'm still trying to figure out what it was. I don't know why I didn't feel like what you felt. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Nah.
I'm still trying to find out why. I like.
What did you think about Thanos' philosophy?
So that was the thing.
I still agreed with it. I was like,
with,
oh man, I'm still with
Thanos
you.
a lot.
Yeah, and then when he was like, oh, you guys are like annoying. You keep coming back, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna take enjoyment out of. Like he's like,
Right.
it was never personal, but this
Right.
one I'll take enjoyment out of it.
Right.
And it was like, I get it. I get what you're trying to do. And
Mhm.
even when they found Thanos on that other island, and he even destroyed the stones because he's like, I don't want to fall into greed, like temptation.
Yeah.
Remember that? So I was like, oh, you're a good character.
Mhm.
You're literally just trying to do what you believe is correct, and they're trying to do what they believe is
But
correct.
that's what a good
There's-
villain is, though, right?
Right? Yeah, totally. There's no black and white in this movie. It's like areas of gray that we're fighting in. It's like
Yeah.
who is correct, who is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to think that this all started back in 2008 with Tony Stark's movie, like
Yeah.
Iron Man, and then it finally came to conclusion.
It was like 22 movies later, right?
Yeah, and I was
Something
saying
like
like how watching this movie was kind of like, oh, it almost felt like when I first saw this movie back in 2008, and then they like started like hinting at all these other movies.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I'll never get to see the end of it. Like it'll never end, you know. Like I'll like probably pass away before it ends because like I don't
Right.
know, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then like after seeing it, it's like, oh, it's done. It had that feeling of like finality,
Yeah.
you know, like
Of the
I-
ones that we grew up, yeah.
yeah,
with,
you know,
right? These are
I
like
could watch
once they
this
start-
block
Yeah.
and I'm like done.
Yeah. Like, I mean, what's very interesting, I was also watching about or reading about, like, was they knew their general idea of where they want to go,
Mhm.
but it was first to focus on making good movies, right?
Right.
Then try to connect them all.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's how they. I think this is where DC falls apart, right? In their
Right,
films,
right,
that they
yeah.
tried to make it all like
versus
connected, but it
good.
was just not done well. But,
What I thought was interesting in terms of like making good movies and stuff, and like watching the cameos of the past people.
Yeah.
I was watching the like why certain
Mm.
actors are not in the Marvel movies anymore, and one of them was like Natalie Portman, and like
Yeah.
allegedly it was because she liked the director, so she signed on for Thor, and then they got rid of that director, so she was pissed, and then she like didn't want to come back for the other movies,
yeah.
you know, and then like
So that
but
was
it-
the director for Wonder Woman, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why she decided to come back. I don't know. Whatever her thing is, but like
Yeah.
they did like a interview with her, and they're like, "Oh, would you ever come back?" And then she's like, "I wouldn't be opposed to coming back," you know. And then
Mhm.
when I saw her in this movie, I was like, "Oh, there it is!" Like,
Right.
but it would have been funny if they went back in time. They saw like Edward Norton as like Hulk, and they made like a little joke about
Mhm.
it, or like Terrence Howard. I
Right.
thought that's what they were gonna do. Like I was like, "Yo, you guys are going back. You guys are going so far back. Just make sure you don't go back to because they never went near 2008."
Right.
So I was like, "Okay, cool." Remember when they were jumping to like different
Right, yeah.
times?
I'm not sure if they did come back in the film or they used footage that wasn't used before, or
Maybe.
like for Natalie Portman, because there
Really?
wasn't really much scenes. Like there was scenes, but then were they footage that wasn't used, or there was things filmed that was not put in?
Maybe. True. Yeah. Well, whatever. You. still
But
have to
she
get the
was there.
rights-
She
you have to
was
get
there at
rights
the
of her.
premiere, though. So.
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
Oh, so there you
Yeah,
go.
So she was, like, of course they had to like ask her again or
Yeah, for sure.
something like that. So.
One of the interesting points was like back to like psychological stuff. Tony Stark was suffering with PTSD after seeing like Thanos's capabilities.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how it's like again fractals. So like because he saw Thanos's thing, he decided to like protect the Earth, and that created like a divide.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, like because like Captain America versus Iron Man.
That was the whole Civil War
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
And then like seeing him grapple with his PTSD, and then now you see Thor grappling with his PTSD.
Yeah.
That was so fascinating. Like he was like out of shape, and then they were like I understand, like you're afraid too.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was like
yeah.
he's like, why would I be afraid? I killed him. But it was like you killed him in a moment of weakness.
Well, when
You know?
when he was like Thanos was already done, like, oh well, I already finished what I needed to do, so it's like,
Yeah. So why did you kill him? And it's like, yeah, totally.
yeah.
It was that was very interesting. I like the psychological components to the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think that is good that they do have that. Like, I mean, there was part of, I'm not sure, like the first, I don't know, 25% of the movie was when they go 5 years later, and then you're seeing their, like how they're dealing with the situation.
And like how Captain America was like leading that focus group.
Yeah.
Or, like not focus group, but like that like meeting, like AA kind of meeting.
Yeah.
That was really, really interesting. And I like how they made that guy that he was speaking to like gay, but you didn't actually know it. Like he was like, I went on a date, and you're like, okay, and then he's like, oh, me and him are getting, and I was like, oh wow, you're like breaching all, you're trying to be super inclusive, you know?
Yeah.
The Disney movies. Yeah. I like that. That was cool. And when they made that joke about like America's ass, that was hilarious.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that was a good, I guess, so that, like, yeah, with all this, even like, sadness in a sense, but they did bring in, I think, jokes that fit in.
Yeah, for sure.
That made it fun to still be part of that movie. Like,
I really liked how Captain America, his send off was that he decided to, you know, marry his wife, like not wife, that girl that he loved, and then like, cause he was like struggling with that for so long, right? And he's like, but it was like a perfect send off, cause like he always wanted to go back to his time because he loved that girl.
Yeah.
And then this was his opportunity. He took it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
You know, like that was proper.
I think these were, exactly, proper send-offs for these people that we've been watching for a long time.
Yeah, I think the reason why I gave it a 200 out of 10 was because I remember like it was during my like formative years of watching, like being in business school, and then the first time I ever saw Iron Man, I was like, oh, this is the guy that I'd like to mirror like some of my characteristics off of, because like you're such a genius. Like, so then I was like, okay, let me study hard and stuff. And then for it to hit this point where it's like it's a proper send off, I think that's why it hit so home to me, because of the nostalgia feel. Like I remembered so much of how much I idealized Tony Stark's character,
Right.
and then to watch him like come full circle, be the person he was meant to be, have a family, be a great dad, and then just like go out on a high, was like, that was the perfect way to end it. Even though he did die, it was very sad, but it was like, you either, you know, die early or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it was perfect. You became the hero, done with your story.
Right.
Yeah. Best movie of all time.
Okay.
I almost want to go back and watch all of them now. Because, like, well, not all of them, just the Tony Stark ones. Because, like, I really love that character. But not, like, there's some ones that I was kind of like, I've never seen Thor #1.
Oh, really?
I can't finish it. I've seen, like, the beginning. I'm just like, I gotta turn it off.
Right.
It's not for me.
Right.
But Thor 2.
I think we talked about that too. Like, now that Thor is,
I'm so
now
excited.
that they ended with Thor hanging out with the the Guardians, sorry.
Yeah. That was, and it was so funny. He fits perfectly with that team.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, his comedic value is like so high. But you never expect it because of the way he like looks.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, now that the way he looks wouldn't be funny.
True. But like that actor,
Yes.
you know, like
That's true.
you'd think he'd be like a leading man kind of thing, and then like to see him in this is like, wait, oh, this is your true personality. You know? I
Right.
really, really liked it. I
Oh,
was pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else?
I mean, other thing, like, they really did have a good send off for Iron Man, though. Like, I was wondering how they would exactly end it, and especially with the message he had for the
Oh,
first
yeah,
kid,
first
too.
kid. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the thing
and
with
that
the
became
kid
the
too
thing.
was also foreshadowed in past movies.
What do you mean?
In the past, I'm not sure if it was in the Avenger Infinity War or the one before, but he was telling, is it Pepper Potts? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That he had a dream that they had a daughter and her name was.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. True.
And that was the name that they gave her.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I liked how that was his like biggest salvation when he said like, yeah, I'll help you guys get the stones, but we changed nothing about this timeline.
Right.
I was like, that's pretty sweet. And then it was cool when it's hard to direct kids though.
I know.
She was so like,
of course.
you know, she wasn't sad that her dad died. It's very hard to
No,
direct kids.
but
the innocence, I get it.
But even then, the kids at that age wouldn't understand what that meant.
Yeah, I get it. But it's just like,
Right.
it seemed like hard for the act. You know what I mean? Like being an actor, like James Favreau or whatever.
Yes.
And then him like
Jon Favreau, I think.
Jon Favreau, yeah. And then him like trying to act beside her. He was like really sad, and then she was so aloof, and it was like, ooh, this is coming across like kind of hard, but I get it because she wouldn't understand. You're right, but like it just felt a little weird. But whatever. So then it was funny how like he's like, what do you want to eat? And she's like, cheeseburgers. And it brought you back to the first movie because like when he came back from the Afghanistan or whatever, and then he's like, I want a cheeseburger.
Right.
God, I gotta watch those movies. Iron Man's the best character of all time, yo.
It was good.
I lost a little faith in him during like the Avengers when he became like kind of evil, but then, yeah.
But that was the whole.
But that was the point.
This thing, yeah, it was the whole plot for his character.
But it was meant to like.
It was meant to.
It was his PTSD.
Yeah.
That brought him, you know.
Yes.
Because it was something he couldn't solve.
Right.
Yeah, actually, that's probably why
Yeah.
it was so hard for him. Because like, he didn't have PTSD when he went to like Afghanistan. Remember when he was captured?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm back. Let's move forward. But like, this is the one problem he couldn't find the solution to in his head.
Right. Yeah. And then that was it. That was before Civil War, right?
Yeah.
Then Civil War came, and then the clash again.
He was like, damn.
Between-
Yeah, Avengers was when it first happened, and then all those aliens came, and he's like, what's going on?
Right. Yeah. And then he couldn't. Then he tried to solve it with.
Didn't he like
Civil War,
log
but-
into something? Like, remember his like psyche? How did he see the future? What was that?
I don't know. He had. I'm not sure exactly how his visions.
So I
came
can't
to
we gotta
be.
check that out again.
Yeah.
But like, it was something like he interacted with the stone, maybe.
Impossible. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow he got those visions, and that's why he kept doing what he did. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really best movie of all time.
The thing that I found was, like really cool was to see. It's also called back in the comics was Captain America using the hammer.
Oh yeah.
I think that was hinted at a long time ago too.
Yeah, your brother
If
was
you
saying
remember that.
Your brother was saying that like in that one scene, like he tried to pick up the hammer and
Yeah,
it shook
remember
a little bit.
Remember? Yeah, he moved a little bit, and then the camera like went to focus on Thor. Like he knew something was up, and then.
When he picked it up, he's like, I knew it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was called back to. I think that was Ultron movie.
Sick.
Yeah, Ultron Avengers. That's when that was.
And it was
called back.
amazing to watch him like use it. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
so good. Honestly,
then,
like that movie was so good. I don't understand, man. That movie was so good.
Right. It was good. It was good because I mean it's all. Everything, like we grew up watching those things.
I would watch it again, man. So good.
Yeah. I do want to like those particular scenes were really fun to watch.
The only thing that I was like, oh, that was kind of weird that she cut her hair. That
right.
But I
yeah.
think they're gonna go into that in her own series. But like
That's also like a new look from her, her comics in the comics. Sorry.
right. Yeah. But like I think we'll go into it later.
Yeah, I think.
But
so.
The only thing is like she was so underutilized in that movie.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like.
But I liked it too, though. It was their problem to solve. But if Thanos
yeah.
was the biggest
Yeah.
problem in the universe, then like she better have been dealing with an even more intense crisis. If like
Right.
yeah, but I don't think like okay. So now looking forward into the new future characters.
Yeah.
Who would you attach to? The only person I see like there's only two characters that I'm like interested in watching the movies for. Oh, three. Ant-Man, Black Panther, and Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, I don't care about any of the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas like in the old ones, it's like I cared about, because those were like formative characters. Those
Yeah,
are like
yeah.
important ones. So like you cared about all of them.
Right. Right.
You know, but I don't really see like who you're gonna latch onto as being your next Robert Downey.
I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where they go now in their next phases. They have a plan though, as they had a plan for this, like a general idea.
But I wonder, you think it's gonna
Or even
be,
like who is the big villain too?
Yeah, totally. I wonder if it's gonna be like, I wonder if it's gonna be like now there's, it probably is gonna be like this, but like when they started Iron Man, right? Like, and then that was our generation's movie set, and then it ended now, and it's like now they're gonna like market to the next generation, but will that be as much care for us as it is for them? You know what I'm saying? It's like when I watched Iron Man, I felt like a sense of like connection because it was during our time.
Right.
But then like for this new series, will I want to watch every single movie? Just like, you know what I mean? Thor's movie, actually, Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, so that's 4.
But that's still part of the trilogy that they're doing.
Yeah. What do you mean? Wait, trilogy? Like the old ones, right?
No, of the Guardians, because that's the volume 3, right? Like we've watched the other 2.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that's what I meant.
But like Guardians is like the midpoint. This is almost like Iron Man was like beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden these characters got added midway through, like Guardians was like point 2, and then like Black Panther was the beginning of 3.
Yeah.
So now we're in like this is a whole new set of characters. All the people from 1 are gone.
Yeah.
2 are kind of around. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then 3 now we're starting with 3. Boom. Whole new generation, whole new market.
Yeah.
How are we gonna like, and like the way it's going, I don't feel a sense of connection personally. Because like when Iron Man came out, there was like a lot of, it was very still kind of loose.
Right.
So like his humor was very like raw, like our 90s humor.
Yeah.
But then now with like Captain Marvel being like the champion of like series 3, it's like so much inclusivity, you know, liberal power, and it's like
a lot of things have changed.
You know what I mean? Like
when these movies came out, that's true.
Like that one scene where we go back to it where like she didn't need their help, but like why were you all standing there?
Right.
But it's because like women empowered.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm not that's like a new generation psychology kind of thing. Like,
right.
It's not really my generation's. You know, Iron Man, Tony Stark was our generation's psychology.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like new marketing tactics. Like, will we just find it cheesy because we know where it came from? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas all the people of today will be like, oh my god, inclusivity, which I think is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like,
right.
There's a lot of bullying back in our time. I'm sure there's a lot of bullying now, but like, they're like cracking down on bullying more than they did when we were kids, or like formative.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess any last final thoughts?
Anything else that you thought was, or callbacks, in a sense? Sticked out to you? I'm still trying to figure out I don't know what it is I didn't. It's not that I didn't like it, or why I not, can't go higher than what I'm going, what my score is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, I thought that was cool. Jarvis.
Right. Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
Or him meeting his father.
Him meeting his father, and then Jarvis was the butler.
Yes.
Just like
that was
how
cool.
He
and
made Jarvis his butler.
Yeah.
I gotta watch.
I mean, we
Iron
finally
Man
got to
#1.
see what he looks like.
Yeah, true. I gotta watch an Iron Man #1. That was so amazing. But it was cool that he atoned for all of his like sins and like his psychological problems, like him and his father, and then like they mended, and then he died. It was a perfect send off. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah. I think the whole thing was focused around Tony Stark.
One thing I wanted to say was just knowing how hard it is to film. It must have been really difficult to do that one take of like when he was like they were like putting his Tony Stark has a heart. That was cool. That was like that's back to the first movie, but like it was is cool how, not cool, sorry, it must have been really difficult to make everyone hold their character as the camera panned around.
Yeah.
You know, that was a difficult scene. I was like, oh wow, this must have been hard to film.
Oh yeah. And a lot of
Because
the
if
times,
one person breaks, you gotta start from the beginning.
yeah. A lot of times when you do that too, it's like when they pass the first set, then they're like they got to move out of the way because the camera's got to go in there, and then it's like everyone's got to still hold face, the ones still in shot.
Yeah, it must be so difficult to be an actor. Like you have to jump into your imagination. Your imagination ability must be so high as an actor.
Oh yeah.
I commend that. That's actually one of like the pursuits of yogiism or like yoga.
Okay.
Like to be able to like harness your imagination so strongly.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like they're all doing it. So, you know, that's why I'm like fascinated by watching actors. It's like, wow, you're actually able to, you know, like.
Yeah. So I mean, it was good. They brought everyone from basically all the movies in this Endgame one.
Doctor Strange and like all
Strange, but even like the Valkyrie.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Ant-Man, Wasp.
Ant-Man, the Wasp. Yeah,
I was so confused though when the female Iron Man came out. I was like, wait. I turned to my sister. I was like, was she in a different movie? I can't remember. And it was like, oh, it's Pepper Potts. Oh, damn. Exactly.
But like, it's also called back in the comics. She did have that too.
Oh, she did? Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's sort of like this. It's sort of like this because they did something similar in the comics now where like if I were to pick up a comic and read it, I'd be so lost. I'd be like, these are not the characters I grew up with.
Yeah. Very true.
You know, and that's kind of where we're headed now. It's like, why is Pepper Potts... Like, you would have had to watch from the beginning to understand this whole arc.
Right.
Whereas, like, when they market it to kids now who won't be watching from the beginning, they'll all be thinking, like... So, like, think from a kid from this generation, right? All these movies coming out, they're like, oh, my God, Pepper Potts is this Iron Woman and, like, all this. Oh, Captain America's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, when they get older, they're, like, in their 20s. And then you're like, oh, actually, there's a whole catalog before this, guys. And then they're like, wait, what? And then they get to watch all that again. Right, you know what I mean? Right. I think that's kind of cool to like, it's almost like you've tapped into a source, you know? It's sort of like when I like started studying yoga and I'm like, wait, there's all this backlog of like books I can read.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but it's been happening for so long. You just didn't catch up until now.
Right.
So, yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
But that's what all stories are, though, right? It's like they're trying to teach you something, tell you something, and there's always like a story to the story that's been created.
Right.
You know.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. It was a good at the end too. I just liked the credits was having all the old characters like kind of that was really their cool send off too. So I don't like
that fight scene when they were trying to decide who was going to die for the Soul Stone. That was amazing.
Oh right, yes. So that was the thing I wanted to just reminded me. Like,
wait, but before we continue,
okay.
Hawkeye's amazing tattoos. I was like, that was sick. I was like, why do I want to get those? Now?
I knew you were gonna look at those.
I was like, ooh, look at that samurai tattoo, nice color. Right. I'm like, should I get that?
So the thing was, so in Infinity War, what Thanos did was he was ready to sacrifice others for his cause.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was self-sacrifice.
Oh, that's interesting.
So out of like for the Soul Stone for some
right,
yeah. So that was.
So we can safely say that Black Widow's movie is going to be a past movie.
I would think it's the origin, yeah.
That's kind of weird because she's probably going to look really old.
But movie magic, I don't know.
True. That'd be kind of corny if they're like, oh, she actually came back because of all the love that we were all missing. But that was cool when Hulk... No, but Hulk was like, no, I tried using the stones to bring her back, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because you needed to sacrifice it.
Yeah.
But they brought Gamora back, so why can't they just go back in time and then bring Black Widow back? You know what I mean? There's like time jumps. Just bring Tony back. People can live forever.
Yeah,
because they brought Gamora back.
Yeah, but it did not. That's right. Wait, that past changed then?
No. Because that past became the future. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because she died.
Yeah.
So she would have had no future. So they, yeah, true. I don't know.
I mean,
Plot
now
hole.
that
Plot hole.
because that was some of the things. Like, what's her name again? The blue one.
Because why couldn't they do that to every character then?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what was her name again? Nebula,
Yeah.
who shot herself, who shot the past self of
Yeah.
her. Oh, did she die?
I thought she was gonna die, but like they said, it's like you're just jumping back in time. I don't know.
But that was
Time's linear.
I think that's where my thing was. Like, I was trying to figure out what it was, and maybe there
No,
was
no,
one
no.
of those
You know what it is?
things.
It's alternate realities. No. I get what's going on. No. Because we're watching it from their time, right?
Right. Yeah.
So like in an alternate reality, that blue person died, and her story's done.
Right.
But we're watching it from this blue person's story.
Yeah.
So it's like when he said like nothing will change the future. It's like no, nothing will change your future.
But the other thing,
But alternate realities.
But the other thing is now in this future, the stones don't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But she said the stones need to exist in order to keep balance in the universe or something. Remember how she said that?
No. During their times.
No. Yeah, but I'm saying in from the universe wise too.
Shit, well, I don't remember.
I think so. Maybe I have to rewatch
Well,
that.
the bald lady.
Yes.
No, she said like, if I give it to you in my time, because she was saying it there.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
like, in your time, yeah, it'll help you, but in my time, it won't help me.
No.
So I need
I
to
know.
get
I
it
know.
back.
I want to maybe just see that again to see exactly what she said, because I wonder if that something to do with the universe too, like to have the stones. Why they weren't destroyed? They
think
were still
so.
kept in
Maybe.
the universe, right?
Maybe I don't know though.
But they aren't anymore in this universe.
No, they should still be in this universe because he put them back.
No,
in
no,
their
they're not.
original
But
spots.
they're already gone. They're destroyed.
Oh, right. They were destroyed by Thanos.
Yeah.
Right. So you were just borrowing them. So, okay. So really what... I get it. Okay, so time's very murky when they do that.
Exactly. That's why.
But
that's,
no. But you have to look at it as like you're watching it from our time view.
No. I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying it. I wasn't sure if I heard that correctly, but I want to check that again. Like, did she say that these stones need to be here in the same universe?
I remember her saying like
or
you
what they
move
do to
this-
the universe or something.
no,
not
like
sure.
if you move this one stone,
No. Yeah.
it creates a different path.
Yeah.
And then that's why he's like, I'll put it back.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it'll destroy the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it would have been destroyed because Thanos already destroyed it.
Right. I think the other thing was that was cool was like people were wondering, like when that attack happened.
Wait. That's what
in-
alternate realities are, actually. If you think about it, that makes logical sense. We're watching our lives from our point of view, but like if we turn left instead of right, that would have just changed that reality's thing.
Yeah, but it changes the whole thing, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't change. It wouldn't change our reality because our reality's still going forward.
No. Yeah, but if you affected the past.
Yeah, you affected.
changed the-
No. You're jumping into an alternate reality. So they call it time travel, but it's actually alternate reality travel. It's not time travel.
Well, it is.
No. All right, so this is our reality. This is their reality. Okay, they jumped into an alternate reality of the past, took the stones, and that created an alternate reality.
Okay, I see what you're trying
all
to
right,
say.
All right, so this is their time. They
Okay.
jumped back. I'm going to use the past instead of saying alternate. So they jumped back to their past,
Yeah.
which spiked an alternate reality, but for them, it's still their reality. So the people of the time that they affected, their lives changed, but the ones who were following chronologically, their lives are still going forward because it's their reality. So the Gamora that's now in this reality is not this reality's Gamora. That's the Gamora of the past.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But,
that's what I'm saying. Alternate realities.
but then that stops the past from happening, though.
No.
So
It
you
just
changed
switches to a different reality. That's not our reality. You're just messing with different realities. So okay. We're faced with a choice. We either go left or right.
Yeah.
Okay? If we choose to go right, that's our reality. but there was a choice that could have gone left, which is a different reality. But that's not the reality we're following in our mind.
Right.
And I guess that's why they're saying, like, in, like, yogic texts, it's like all realities are happening at once. Time is happening all at once. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, which one are you going to follow? Which one is your conscious awareness going to follow? So as the movie viewer, we're watching we're watching Iron Man 1, version 1, who dies in this reality. But in version 2, he doesn't die. But that's not the version we're following as viewers.
Yeah.
So one choice has infinite choices, and each choice presents a different reality. So which one, as a viewer,
but none
are
of
you
the,
going to watch?
But they didn't change any of the past for the other ones, you know? Like,
No, they just changed that reality's reality. They just changed the trajectory of it.
okay. I see what you're saying.
Right?
I see what you're saying.
So that's why that's why he said, like, nothing would change in our time. Because, like, yeah, nothing would change because we're following us. We're not following them. So, like, us going back in time and changing it changes that version's reality, but not our own.
Right. I think I get it.
Yeah. Wow, that was a mind blow for myself. I'm like, oh, I get it. I get how they're doing that. Because I've written...
It's very tricky when you work with time.
Because
you got to hit all those markers.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I've written about fate before, and, like, what I believe is, like, although we have multiple paths, there's always a probability path where it's like it's gonna hit this one point all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, we can always, like, go back. Oh, why didn't Doctor Strange do this? But he already knew what was the path to go, right?
Which is the path that he wanted to go.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why I said, like, 14 million versions, we all die.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all time. So if you could Doctor Strange it and see all time at once, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's seeing all the probabilities. He's like, I'm choosing this one
for
himself, selfishly.
Yeah.
But, like, equally as important is if they died.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. We should call this episode, like, time travel paradox. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anyways, solved that mystery. So, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts? I mean, it was a good movie. I think, I mean, I enjoyed it. If you watched all the other ones, you will most likely understand. Like, seeing all these characters in their final send-offs, which is a good way.
True, yeah.
To do it.
Best movie of all time.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. All right, your final score? Did you change it?
You know what? Let's go to 8.5.
All right. First time ever Vish changes the score. Okay, and not the first time ever I'm going to change mine 1,000 out of 10.
Okay.
Best movie of all time.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, especially if you watch it in conjunction with everything else.
I mean, we did do that, right?
Yeah,
we
exactly.
saw all of them.
Best series
and
of all
to
time.
see it all come to this.
I'd say
Now,
Iron Man #1 was the best movie of all time.
Yeah.
And so is this. But because they're so interlinked, the whole thing becomes the best series of all time.
Right. Yes.
Amazing.
Now what's next?
That's
That's
how
the
we're
thing.
going to end it. Now what's next? All right, till next week. Or no, we don't do weekly anymore. We do kind of do weekly, but we do them sporadically because of our efficiency. Maybe we'll cover the Graham Hancock talk that we're going to see today.
Yeah.
In a future podcast.
Yes.
All right, till next time. Take it easy.
Peace.
Bye.